Hi, welcome to my channel. We've got, let's see, we got 20 people on YouTube and 1 person on Twitch. This is our least successful stream ever, and it's the one that I'm soft launching my charity fundraiser for. Yay!
Yeah, it's because we're talking about kids. Nobody wants to know.
Yeah, kids are the worst.
Although it says, and then there were 3. Like it could be a threesome. We don't know.
No, we know.
No, we don't.
We know it's not.
No, remember Jim
It's
from the
fair.
previous chapter might have come back.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, there's a link in the description on YouTube to donate to the charity. It's Project Share Niagara, which is a local food bank. I'm not gonna push it too hard here because it's supposed to be my November fundraiser, so it's not supposed to start till tomorrow. But like, yeah, so we're kind of soft launching it here. So you can go to that link. We'll be posting in the chat periodically. It's supposed to post in the chat. Oh, someone just subscribed to the channel on Twitch.
Whee!
But it still says I only have 1 viewer, and I know that you've got it open over there, so it's
Look at all those Rhino emojis.
Twitch be wrong. Yeah, that's what I wanted it to happen every time somebody used one of those emojis. But I can't figure out how to set that up, and it just did it automatically for subscribers. So I'm like, okay, sure, why not?
Yeah, subscriber.
But yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on Twitch, but hi. Say hi in the chat if you're in the Twitch chat.
Hello. There's 3 people. It says there's 3 people. Me, you, and somebody else.
Okay.
It's our threesome.
And I don't know what's going on. Like, nobody's saying anything in... Oh, no. There we go. There we go. Steve Weber says, Heidi, 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 ho.
Yay!
That's... Oh, yeah, that's probably in response to my trying to figure out this thing. And, like, I was trying to make the thing that I highlighted go away, but it just kept on putting it back up. So I'm like, oh, there's an X there. That'll make it go away. But yeah.
Okay, let's talk threesomes.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not going to be a threesome.
It's a threesome. Oh, and it's a short one today.
It's a short threesome?
It's a short threesome.
I mean, isn't that how they always go? They're short and disappointing.
It could be. Like, I don't know. Like, if I'm doing
You have high expectations, and then it's short and disappointing.
Like, it doesn't have to be, though. You just have to set the expectations ahead of time. So, like, if I'm in a threesome, I want all the attention on me. So the other person, the additional person, has to be a giver. If they're a receiver and I'm a receiver, then you've got a lot of work to do and someone's going to be disappointed, and it should not be me. So I'm sorry to the third person.
Yeah. So in other words, it's going to be short and disappointing.
Yes, but if they're also a giver, then I'm happy. You're happy. Everybody's happy. That's how I see it. Okay.
So yeah, to just start things off on the TMI note.
No, that's just telling people that when they walk into these things, they need to like set expectations, have conversations, and don't just think it's going to be like all roses and sunshine, because it's not necessarily. You need to set those boundaries. Like, yeah. Okay. Then there were 3. Woohoo. Woo, 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 woo. Do you remember the old childhood chant? First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes Susie with the baby carriage. Well, that's not how we said it, but yeah, I guess so.
Well, it starts with the so-and-so and so-and-so sitting in a tree, K-I-S-S-I-N-G. And we joked about that. Was it on tweets when you were on?
I don't know.
I don't know. Somebody said something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And we joked about it.
Do you ever wonder why there wasn't a second verse?
Because it's a kid's rhyme to make fun of someone. It like from when you're in the prepubescent stage where you start to notice the opposite sex, but well, straight people start to notice the opposite sex.
I think we should make a second verse.
But no, it's like it's from kids. They're like, oh, John's hanging out with, let's use her name, Susie.
Yeah, no, I know how it goes.
And that's funny.
I'm saying we need to make a second verse where Susie's getting frustrated because she's taking on all the household chores and emotional labor, and then John wants to have another baby, and Susie's like, okay, let's have another baby because maybe the baby will make it better. And so we start KISSing again, and then we have another baby, and Susie's like really stressed the fuck out.
You know that's not how babies are made, right? There's more than just kissing that goes into that. We have 5 children. She's just learning this now.
What?
To be fair, only 2 of them came out of you.
That is true. I have watched what happens to couples after the babies start to come. Too many times a husband gets pushed out of his first place position and has to resign himself to playing second fiddle.
I mean, yeah, a grown-ass man can take care of himself. A newborn baby that literally can't do anything but shit in its pants.
I'm sorry,
needs a bit
one.
more attention.
You can't get food right now because daddy needs attention. Like, yeah. Obviously, a child requires more time and energy than a grown man. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is the skillful wife who reassures her guy that he is still number one in her heart.
So maybe I could see that being appropriate for a marriage where they're both like where they're having the kids together, but in a blended family situation like ours, I fully understand that your kids take priority over me. If I start behaving like an asshole, you are going you're going to leave me for the sake of your kids.
No, but she's like, obviously, he's still number one in her heart. Now, if the house were on fire,
yeah,
when your wife was alive, are you saving your wife or your kids?
I mean, she's a grown-ass woman, so I'd nudge her to get her awake and then be like, okay, you get that kid, I'll get that kid. And...
Okay, Sophie's choice. They're hanging off a cliff. You can only save one. Who are you saving, your wife or one of your children?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, it would have been my child. I'd be like, you lived long enough. They're just starting out.
Yeah.
I mean, so many women, like, you'll hear it, so many women.
If you save the wife, you can make another one.
Yeah, but you can't make that one again.
I know. I mean, if we're going Book of Job rules,
yeah, but
it doesn't matter. Kid's a kid.
But honestly, from the woman's perspective, we actually do a lot better as single moms than we do in a relationship because we have one less person to take care of. So
yeah,
you know. No, but think about it. Like, there's so many women who have like complicated
children, bro. LOL. Yeah, no, I think I had that conversation. Like, we've had that conversation with each other, and it's come up like, no, I would save the kids because I know you would be fucking pissed at me if I didn't.
Right. So when you think of like women who have complicated pregnancies and they know going in that there's a possibility that one of them may not make it, 90% of the time they're like, save the kid. Yeah. Don't worry about me. Save the child.
Yeah, because, I mean, if I save you and leave the kids to die, our relationship's going to be over anyway.
I'm not talking about a blended family. I'm talking about, like, you and your wife and the first kid, and it's like, okay, it's super complicated. It's either me or the child. In those cases, a lot of time, I'm not saying every time, but a lot of time, the mother's like, save the baby. Don't worry about me. Save the baby. The kids always come first. So sorry, Sharon. You were wrong. Damn it. There it is. Here's my highlighter. Rob Parsons, author of the 60-Minute Marriage Builder, wrote about the adjustment his marriage went through after the birth of their first child. I have sympathy for the person who said insanity is hereditary. You get it from your kids.
Did she really have to quote someone else saying that instead of just, saying that?
I guess. I don't think I could love my children more, but why didn't anybody warn my wife and me of the changes they were going to cause in our relationship? You didn't think your relationship was going to change when you had a tiny human to take care of? Why did someone have to warn you?
That is something that I've noticed in a lot of, like, any marriage book or marriage advice thing or any sort of family advice situation. it seems to be pretty common that people will okay. Sorry, I don't, my chatbot doesn't seem to be running, sending the oh no, there it is. There it is. That's not the donation link. That's the donation link. So if people want to donate to Project Share, go there. Anyway, what was I saying?
I don't know.
What did you just read?
Oh, that they didn't know that having a child was going to change their relationship.
So like unsolicited advice all the time when I got married from just people, and also like every relationship book was, oh, kids will change things.
Yeah.
Everybody says that. And what's funny is a lot of the people that are saying that, when everybody says that, will also say nobody says how kids change the relationship. It's like, no, they also, literally every marriage advice book says that.
Like, do your research. If you like, you're just having a kid willy-nilly and you don't even think about what the consequences are going to be. Like,
Yeah.
even if nobody told you that, you then just randomly decide willy-nilly, hey, I'm going to have a kid. Now, don't get me wrong. I quite understand that some people have kids and they did not intend to.
Mm-hmm.
But these are people who are intentionally having children. And they're just like, yeah, we're going to have kids. We don't know what's going to happen when we have them, but we're going to have kids. Oh, shit. Things changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
you have another person.
Is there literally any person on the planet who thinks that having a child will not change a household dynamic?
I don't know. Maybe they thought the Lord would save them from the chaos. I don't know.
Like you saw that meme the other day with the people being like, oh, it's just like my face when I realized that, you know, I've gone from asking my parents for permission to go out to now that I've had a kid, I have to ask my parents' permission to go out again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
You need childcare and stuff.
That's why we're meant to be in community. Community. 1 minute, Diane and I are spending our evenings taking walks together, visiting friends, and reading in front of the fire. The next, we are walking the halls at midnight, singing nursery rhymes and dealing with postpartum depression in me.
That's
in him.
Yeah, men can get postpartum depression too. I'm actually kind of surprised that Sharon would acknowledge that, because that is kind of a it's only kind of recently that people have been acknowledging that men can get postpartum depression. It's still far more common in women.
I wonder what triggers it in men.
Hormones, expectations that aren't met.
That's what I'm thinking.
Now, I'm not saying expectations from like spousal expectations. I'm like expectations like, oh, I'm expecting that as soon as I see my newborn baby, it's going to create this emotional reaction in me and we're going to bond immediately and everything's going to be great. We listen to Dear Old Dads occasionally, but I listen to every episode. She only listens to the ones I tell her to. Eli Bosnick suffered from postpartum depression. And part of that was that he didn't feel the bond that you're supposed to feel when he had the baby.
But
and
didn't
he thought
he
there was
already?
something wrong with. Yeah, he already has depression in
Right.
like that's managed.
Yeah.
And so like this was an extra on top of that.
Right, but my thought process is, and I don't know because I haven't looked into the postpartum depression of men, but like if you've already got depression, you're going to be more susceptible
you're probably at a higher risk for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was how he described it, as like I'm not feeling this connection that I feel that I'm supposed to feel. And like I guess like he did eventually get that connection, but he had to work on it. It wasn't just automatic. And like thinking that you're supposed to feel a way and not feeling that way automatically can kind of trigger that sort of thing.
Oh, I know.
So yeah, I know you know.
Yeah, no. Second baby was a little bit traumatic. So yeah, that was interesting times. Damn it, where were we? Oh, depression in me. Parsons, an illegal consultant and family advocate.
He's an illegal.
Oh, is a legal consultant.
That sounds like you said he's an illegal family consultant.
A large part of his counsel is spent urging parents to spend time with their children. Nevertheless, he warns that when one parent becomes obsessed with a child to the exclusion of the other parent, the marriage begins to operate as though there's an affair going on.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't like the way they're framing it. Because, like, again, this is a conversation that we've had because, like, we communicate with each other, is that for the benefit of the children, it's important for us to show affection to each other in front of them.
Right.
And sometimes that does include moments of, ew, that's gross, cut it out. Like this morning when you left to take them to school. Oh, it's not refreshing. Oh, bloody hell. The little thing that shows the donation thing times out after 20 minutes. And I thought I had a button set up that would refresh it, but it's not refreshing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I distracted myself again. Yeah. So as you were leaving to take the kids to school, your oldest was like, "Don't kiss." So we made a big show of like standing right in front of his window, knock on the window, make sure he's looking.
Yeah, we like to gross them out.
Yeah, and that's part of. But again, like it's not that we're not being affectionate for affection's sake, but it's like it's showing them what a healthy relationship looks like.
Right. So when earlier we were talking about depression and said in me, and then we were talking about the reasons why, and you said expectations.
Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what I figured they were going with. And I'm not saying that men can't have postpartum or that, like you said, they won't feel that connection and that can bring on depression. But knowing this book, that's exactly where they were going with this.
Yeah, they're probably not even like they're probably using the term postpartum depression jokingly rather than how it actually manifests.
So,
oh, she doesn't suck my dick as much anymore.
Yeah.
And it makes me sad.
Yeah.
That's postpartum depression.
Well, let's see. We got some surveys here, some interviews. In a majority of my surveys with men, they noted that the one thing their wife did well was mother. I wish my wife would show more support when it comes to guiding children through difficult times. When they rebel, I need her support more than ever, and unfortunately, that's when her support ebbs. She needs to be part of the solution rather than part of the problem. She doesn't realize that her attitude and the way she speaks to me greatly affects the kids. Rick. I don't understand what that has to do with anything.
If she doesn't suck my dick as much, I'm not going to be as nice to the kids.
Well, no, he's talking about when, like, it sounds like when he's disciplining the kids and she's on their side and not his side. That's what I'm gathering from that. I don't know. What is one thing my wife does well? She cares for the children.
I could see something like that being a point of conflict. Like, because I know there have been times when I'm like, I feel like we need to be a little bit more stern, and then you swoop in, give him a big hug, and be like, "Oh, do you need some snuggles?" And
yes, have you read the book yet?
No, I haven't read.
Okay, read the book, and then we'll have the conversation.
I know. I'm not saying that I'm right in that scenario. I'm saying that's my instinct. But also, there's because of blended family stuff, you're the one that gets final say in how your kids.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, read the book.
Get me an audiobook.
I have it on audiobook.
Oh, okay. Well,
you just have to log into my account.
So I'm gonna have to work, like log out and log in and remember passwords.
I don't know. If you figure out how to do the family sharing library, you could just listen to my book.
You remember I Googled that, and it's like this big complicated procedure that
I don't know. I did it once upon a time, and it was
people
fine.
Not be able to do it.
Anyways, read the book. First, you connect. You cannot talk to a tiny human when they're throwing a tantrum with logic. You have to connect with them first. What is one thing my wife does well? She cares for the children. Sometimes too much. Matt.
Fuck off, Matt.
My wife is a wonderful mother, highly devoted to them, and always seeks for their best interests. Eric. Cool. What is one thing my wife does well? She is a great mother. Joe Everyman.
Joe Everyman?
This was a response from a very large percentage of the questionnaire respondents.
Okay, yeah. So she's just being cheeky about the fact that lots of people said that.
Okay, cool. Your wives are great mothers. Yay! Thank you. Dr. John, I don't know what that has to do with the previous one about having an affair with your children. Dr. John Roseman noted, today's typical wife, as soon as she becomes a parent, begins to act as if she took a marriage vow that read, I take you to be my husband until children do us part. I'm sorry.
It's funny because like this style of book, this worldview that she is advocating for, will often like they expect women to be the homemaker who stays at home, takes care of the kids, keeps the house clean. And now we've got a chapter on children. There's like, when she takes care of the kids, that makes me feel like she's not taking care of me anymore. Like, what? Make up your minds, guys.
I can remember a time, and not too long ago, when a wife who became a mother remained first and foremost a wife.
Make America great again. Speaking of Make America Great Again, that was back in the era where you could smack your wife and it was seen as okay.
Yeah, no. A woman who worked outside the home was referred to as a working wife. And a woman who worked in the home was referred to as a housewife. How about I'm just my own person?
That is distressingly similar to the phrases used to describe the various roles of slaves in the 1800s. Like there's the house slur for black person.
You could just say house slave.
Yeah, I could, but that's not the term that they used.
Yeah, but you can't use that term. So just
I know, but
slave.
I'm saying it that way to emphasize how extra terrible it was versus the field ones, and that is strikingly similar to that. Got the housewife and the field wife.
Because we must remain a wife first and foremost. So if we have a job and our husband needs us, we must leave our job to be our wife.
Okay,
be a wife.
If that's a valid reason to get upset, we're breaking up.
What?
My mom got pissed at my stepdad for buying my daughter more shit than he bought for her, and my mom complained to me like I'd give a like, you buy so much shit for our kids.
I do.
And then like I asked you for a big disgusting gross burger with bacon and onion rings and barbecue sauce on it, and you showed up with a salad.
I did.
So now I'm mad. There is more to it than that. It's not that she just showed up with a salad when I was expecting something else. It was a situation where it's like,
I don't think your audience cares. So like, good for her.
Yeah, no.
She's keeping him healthy.
I'm trying to make it out that I'm not just making you out to be the bad guy.
They don't think I'm the bad guy. They're like, good for her.
Okay.
She's
fine.
giving him a healthy meal instead of a gross burger. She's taking good care of him, is what they're thinking.
Okay.
I can, wife, in-house, outhouse, whatever wife.
What? Outhouse wife?
Yeah.
Is that
real housewife?
Is that another term for the mistress? Because there's the wife that you have in the house, then you have to go to the outhouse to visit the other wife.
No, that's me summarizing
It's the illegal family guy. Because you've married two people illegally,
maybe.
and there's the secret family.
Secret
so there's
family.
the in-house wife and the outhouse wife.
But a paradigm shift has occurred in our way of thinking that is reflected in the terms.
It's called women's rights.
Terms we use to describe a woman's employment status. Today's woman in the same circumstance is referred to as a working mom or a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, because we're also a mom, but can't we just be a person?
I was expecting them to go. I was expecting like a professional woman.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
I'm like, why can't I just be a person outside of that?
Yeah. Why do women have to be defined by their relationship to the men
home.
or the children?
Yeah.
Like, why can't they like if a man works in construction, he's called a construction worker. He's not called a working husband.
Yeah.
Or a working dad. So like, why is it different for women?
Oh, I saw a thing the other day.
See, we got people in the chat that are like siding with me about the burger versus salad thing because I didn't give extra context to not make you the bad person.
I'm not saying you didn't like a burger over a salad. I'm saying I got you a salad and it's healthier.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, the meme. It said, any man who calls watching his children babysitting should have his barbecue revoked or barbecue taken away or something like that.
Sure. I think that's a stupid thing. Anyway, like why do people do that.
I know someone who does that.
Yeah, I know you know someone who does that. I guessed something about that. About
Yeah, my kid's dad does
yeah.
that. He
Yeah,
likes
like
to babysit.
you told me
kids.
you told me a story about him, and I just was like, he sounds like the kind of guy who would refer to looking after his own children as babysitting.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of looked at me like, he is.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's funny because our neighbors would
Oh,
even
that's-
call him out on it. They'd be like,
Yeah.
it's not babysitting.
So Duck Boy makes an interesting point that I could have addressed, but you cut me off before I.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
It wasn't the burger I wanted. It was just like a little tiny burger, but like
Yeah.
my salad came with the burger.
Yeah.
But it was
See?
like the kid's burger or something.
Yeah, he got a little treat with his salad.
But you didn't let me
Take
tell
care
the
of my
story,
man.
you didn't let me tell the story, so I didn't get to that. You got to let me go on my tangents.
No, because now we interacted with the chat. No tangents for you.
Nobody's donated.
Mm.
This is a failure of a soft launch. There's a charity thing. Go to the link in the description. That's what that $0 of $10,000 goal thing is at the bottom.
Well, you didn't really make that clear. Maybe you just want to earn $10,000.
I mean, I do, but this is not for me. It
Yeah.
doesn't. I don't see any of this money. So this is the same service that they tried to get me to use last year that we ended up not using. Or no, we did, but it was weird. I don't know. Apparently, they have fixed it so you can donate if you're an international person now outside of Canada.
But yeah, so someone just coming on the stream, they'll just see 0 to 10,000. Is that your goal of what you want to make? It doesn't say like project share charity drive.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm bad at graphics design.
Now, some might think that it is an improvement. After all, who wants to be married to her house? But I
Wants to be married to her children.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's not mom wife. It's
I don't know.
mother.
They're
whatever.
stupid. I'm just over this right now. But I think the change is more of a reflection of the culture shift of importance of being a wife to being a mother. Yes. The tiny humans who cannot take care of themselves. That is more important than the grown-ass man who can take care of themselves.
I think they need the context of my story. 'Cause my chat is coming to my defense. They're rallying around me.
What?
She was not the bad guy in this story.
Let them think I'm the bad guy.
Okay.
I'm the bad guy.
There was no bad guy in the story. Everything was fine.
Play the Billie Eilish song. But I think the change is more of a reflection of the culture shift of importance, blah, blah, blah. Our focus has shifted from a home that is centered on the marriage unit to one that is centered on the children. Yes, the people who need the most support in the home gets it.
Mm-hmm.
That concerns Sharon. Roseman goes on to say, this shift came about largely because America's shift to a self-esteem-based child-rearing philosophy. We're not supposed to have self-esteem?
No, you're supposed to make sure your kids have self-esteem at the expense of yours.
And women became persuaded that the mother who paid the most attention to and did the most for her child was the best mom of them all. Okay, now.
That's the soccer moms.
Yeah, no, I agree. Your children need your attention, but you still get to be your own person. You do not have to give them all of yourself. Unfortunately, many times this has occurred at the expense of the marriage. It's called communication. The wife becomes engrossed in her children's lives and the husband becomes engrossed in his career.
Husbands
Okay, so
just
let's
become
deal
gross.
with that part.
Husbands just become gross.
Yeah. But like, why is this on the wife? Like,
yeah, why can't
he
the
becomes
husband...
engrossed in his career. Why don't he also get involved with the children and take them to soccer sometimes? Like you said, she's now a working mom, so she's got work to do too.
You have to get Sharon's other book, Becoming the Man of Her Dreams.
Yeah, no.
I wonder if she did write that one.
20 years later, they look up from their cereal bowls and say, "Who are you?" My children do not say that because they know exactly who I am, because I am there. Hello. Let's see. Oh. I was hoping that was Drama Llama. I believe the best mom of all is one who loves her husband and gives her children the security of living within the protection of a rock-solid marriage. A marriage that exemplifies the model for them what God intended. You only give your child security? You don't give your child love? And support and encouragement and all these other wonderful things that children need?
¿Por qué no los dos?
No hablo español.
Why not both?
Why not all?
Well, both as in like love and all the stuff you said.
Yeah. No, you must love your husband and only give your children security. Ah, much better. Okay. I remember when I was 6 years old, my heart's greatest desire was to have a mommy and daddy who loved each other.
You have a nickname.
It's my nickname. The Hamburglar?
No, it's Heidi the Hamburglar. Got to get the alliteration in there.
My parents had a tumultuous marriage. They fought both verbally and physically in my presence. I felt as though I lived on an earthquake fault line, never knowing when the big one was going to hit. There was many big ones. Okay, so Sharon, the thing is...
That, you see, that's a physically and emotionally abusive situation is not just, oh, I spent too much time at the office and she spent too much time taking care of the kids.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, like, if both of your parents, like, showed you and expressed their love for you properly, they wouldn't be doing this in front of you. I mean, they wouldn't be doing it at all, but, like, you know.
It's a disturbing trend I've noticed in this book is that she will describe problems that everybody has to some degree or another, and then she likens it to a severely abusive situation immediately following that. And, like, not in a way that highlights how bad the abuse is, but more in a way that tries to normalize it.
Yeah.
And I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like it, Sharon.
Yeah, no, we don't like this. This is not okay.
And especially after that last chapter where she was like apologizing for the guy who was abusive and whose ex-wife said he was abusive. She was like, they were false allegations, but we could see the abuse just from his side of the story.
Yep. Yeah, like the thing is, it's like sometimes the best thing you can do is separate. And in an abusive relationship like this, that might be the best option.
Czar says, I will donate if Heidi promises to get what you want next time.
Yeah, but it wasn't a burger that he asked for.
Yeah, I know. I tried to tell the story, but you wouldn't let me. So now they think you're the bad guy.
You're going to deprive hungry children of food. No,
you are going to just promise to get what I want next time because that doesn't actually violate what happened today. If I get the whole story with all the context out, you did get me what I want, just not what I expected.
What?
It would make sense.
Do you guys actually want to hear the story? Like... Or do you want me to read this beautiful book?
Just agree to the promise.
Sharon,
just agree to the promise so that somebody can send a donation. So that it's not saying the pathetic 0 of 10,000.
I feel like this is what you guys came for. It's the book.
Do it. Do it. Just promise. Just promise.
I ain't promising that.
You said it's a short chapter. We got time for my tangents.
Once, when I had gone to visit my favorite aunt in Connecticut, she took me shopping to buy my mother a present. I picked out a very transparent, pale yellow, very lacy negligee.
Ooh. What? Wait, she got that for her parents?
For her mother.
Ew.
Right? And I feel like she was fairly young. Not like an 18-year-old.
Oh, got a new follower. Donate to the charity, new follower.
Stop pressuring your people. I can't remember what they're called. Viewers. Everyone got a huge laugh out of my selection, but the truth was, in my little girl heart, I thought that if my mommy was dressed in that nightie, that maybe my daddy would like... What's going on in this book? What the fuck? Sharon, I think you have seen too much of what your mommy and daddy do when you're supposed to be sleeping. Is what I think the problem is here. Then maybe my dad would like her. Then maybe she would like him. Then maybe everything would be okay. Sharon, you should probably go to therapy.
Yeah, Sharon should go to therapy.
A mother should never feel guilty for putting her husband before her children.
So that's also part of the story that I didn't get to tell.
If they want to hear...
Let's see if I can figure out how to do a poll.
Yeah.
Poll.
A mother should never feel guilty for putting her husband before her children. Giving them the security of knowing that their parents' love for each other is one of the best gifts she can give them in the long run. No. Because if you all aren't meant to be together, the best gift you can give is getting a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
As two children from two divorced families where the parents were not meant to be together, the best thing you can do is get a divorce. I mean, you could go to therapy first. You can try and work it out. But if that doesn't work out, staying together just for the sake of it, or because God told you to, is not in the best interest of your children. I wish my wife and I spent more time together without the kids. Randy. Valid. But...
valid depending on how much time they already spend together without the kids.
Well, that, or make the arrangements. Find the babysitter.
Yeah.
Take her out to dinner. I'm sure she would be happy.
Is this one of those scenarios where he's just like, I wish she would like do the work required to go out without the kids?
Probably. I don't know. That's all he said. He had one sentence. He just wished they spent more time together.
The poll seems to have ground to a halt. We've got 16 votes, which, yeah, it's not an insignificant number of viewers, but yes is winning with 62% and no and boobs are tied with 19%.
Boobs?
Yes. I said tell the burger story. Yes, no, boobs.
Boobs? Who's showing their boobs?
Me. Because I'm the only one who's allowed to do it on stream.
The greatest struggle in our marriage...
Ooh, we got another vote for boobs as soon as
The greatest struggle in our marriage has been arguments about the children. Russ. Okay, what type of arguments? Do you have disagreements on social issues? Do you have disagreement on what they should wear, on how to discipline them? Or are you arguing because you think she spends more time with the children than with you? I don't know. You got to be clear about that, Russ. I wish my wife understood my need to be her first priority, after Jesus and before the kids.
If it's after Jesus, it's not the first priority. We have $25 in the donations.
Woo woo! 25! After Jesus and before the kids or other outside interests. Craig.
And Zara said, I left the stream to donate and I come back to hear you won't promise.
The woman of my dreams is the woman I'm married to right now. She is tender-hearted, caring, and soft-spoken, even though she's an attorney. Ooh. She stays focused on our relationship. Patrick.
She's soft-spoken even though she's an attorney.
I guess attorneys have to yell.
Okay, you remember your mother when she heard me recording one of my videos?
Yeah.
She was like, he's a completely different person.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like when I first started doing the face video, people started calling me out like, oh, I feel like you're just putting on a persona for the camera. And it's like, well, yes and no. That's just how I am in front of a camera. Like, I'm not doing it on purpose, but like, it is different than if you're just interacting with me on a day-to-day basis. And part of it was I'm louder.
Yeah. But you're also louder because of the topics you're talking about and who you're talking about, right? So there's like a little bit more passion there.
Yeah.
If I were to say the things that the people on the video were saying, you probably would talk to me a little bit louder than you normally do.
Yeah, probably.
My wife and I have been married for more than 12 years. During this time, we've had 3 children and have gone through periods where she worked outside the home or stayed with the children. For the entire period, she has not failed to wake up early in the morning to spend time with me and fix me breakfast before I go to work. This has meant a lot to me, Travis. You're a dick. You're a dick.
Sorry, I missed that. What's she do for him?
She wakes up early to spend time with him and make him breakfast, even though she works. Sometimes she's been working outside of the home and taking care of the children. She still wakes up early to make him breakfast. You're a dick, Travis.
I mean, like which one of us gets up early depends on which kids are doing what in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like
if he would have said, like when she's not working, she wakes up early, fine. But he specifically said, sometimes she's working, sometimes she's home with the kids, whatever, doesn't matter. She wakes up early to make me breakfast and spend time with me.
I mean, if it's not a demand, I could see, like, the thing is though, like, so our mornings are incredibly hectic. So I could see it being like if we had 5 children who all got themselves ready with minimal input from us, then technically, like, neither of us would really necessarily need to be up.
Nope. Apparently I need to get up.
I could see that being a situation where it's like, okay, well, let's get up. And then as soon as the kids are gone, we can, like, sit down and have a nice quiet breakfast with, enjoying our cup of tea or your coffee beverage or whatever. Well, no, you don't do that anymore, do you?
No. Yeah, but in that aspect, some days you would make the breakfast, the coffee, the tea. Some days I would make it. Yeah. No, she wakes up early. And he's specifying that she wakes up early, so she doesn't have to be awake to make him breakfast and spend time with him. Even though she's sometimes working and taking care of the kids at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, I will be fair. We are missing a lot of context, so maybe her working is only a couple hours a day, and the kids are all in school, so, whatever. But I'm presuming she's also responsible for maintaining the house, doing the laundry and the cleaning and everything else. So, Travis, maybe one day you'd like to wake up early and make her breakfast. That would also be nice. It has been said that sex makes little kids and kids make little sex.
At least she didn't feel the need to attribute that to someone else who's attributing it to someone else this time.
I mean,
well, like in the beginning when she was like, so-and-so once said, I like it when people, or I think that whoever coined the phrase blah, 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 was really clever.
Oh.
So, like, instead of just saying the thing that everybody already knows, she had to say that this guy said the thing that everybody already knows. So this, at least she didn't do that this time.
Linda Dillo and Lorraine Peanuts.
Lorraine Peanuts.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. You said something that sounded almost like peanuts, so I'm saying peanuts.
P-I-N-U-T-S.
Let's call her peanuts. I'm saying peanuts.
Lorraine Peanuts, author of Intimate Issues, note the following. In one study, why do people say one study? Can you find me multiple studies?
Yeah, there's one study that says vaccines cause autism. Never mind that that's the study that caused Dr. Wakefield to no longer be Dr. Wakefield.
Yeah. In one study, over 6,000 couples were interviewed when they had no children, and again 5 years later after they had become parents.
Ooh, it's a longitudinal study.
Ooh. The findings showed that after becoming parents, couples expressed a significant drop in marital satisfaction. A more encouraging survey discussed in The Transition to Parenthood says that of 250 couples surveyed, 20% experienced notable improvements after having children. Okay.
So kids are a good thing. So Ava says, now I'm playing those old misogynistic coffee commercials in my head. No wife in the universe can make a decent cup of coffee and no husband is safe. But I'm not familiar with those ones. I don't really remember a lot of the commercials. The one coffee commercial I do remember is the Folgers one with the very incestuous undertones.
Oh, yes. You showed me that one.
Yes. I've also shown you the one that like continues on from it and like
Yeah.
turns it into a
Yeah.
whole thing.
So one way or another, having children will affect your marriage.
Duh.
Yes, yes. Everyone should know that.
Studies have shown that
Children affect your marriage.
Studies have shown that when you have more people living in a house together, it changes how people live in that house together. Wow.
What? Okay. I hope you'll make a decision to be in that 20% that notices an improvement. How? By keeping daddy first. She actually says that.
Call him daddy. Okay. This is a paragraph break.
No, I still have like two more
Keeping
lines.
daddy first is a paragraph. Is the beginning of a new
I'm
section.
still up here though.
Okay.
Don't let the new little man in your life dethrone the ruling king. And that little prince who stole your heart, make sure or princess stole your heart, make sure she knows you're still the queen. Good luck. Okay, paragraph break.
All right, because the yeses won the poll at 59%. Boobs came in second at 29%.
Come on, no, let's do 5 more minutes. Let's go boobs. Let's go boobs.
No, I already ended the poll.
Damn.
Do it again with boobs and yes. No is not an option. Yeah, so burger story. I texted her while she was out, and there's no Burger King where we live. The closest Burger King is a half-hour drive away, and there's a really gross burger that I like at Burger King that is completely disgusting, and it's a good thing it's a half-hour away because I'd be like 100 pounds heavier than I am now if there was one readily available here. And the Roadhouse King Burger is like 2 patties, onion rings, bacon, barbecue sauce. It's disgusting, but so good. So I texted her while she was in one of the towns that has Burger King nearby, saying, can you bring me home lunch? And then she responded with, I can, what do you want? Which I then misread as, I can do what you want. So I decided to turn that into, ooh, you can do me, instead of just saying what I wanted for lunch. And so by the time I got around to texting being like, if you're still in that other town, I'll have the big gross burger that I like. And if not, just something from Wendy's. And she was not, because I spent too long making fun of my misreading her message. And so she was no longer where she could get me my big gross burger. So she got me Wendy's. And at Wendy's, she got me a salad, because pertaining to an earlier conversation of ours, I feel that I don't eat enough vegetables anymore.
I still get you a little treat.
Yeah, and she still got me a little tiny burger.
See?
So she was not the bad guy of the story. She got me what I asked for. It was from Wendy's. It was something that she knows I've been saying that I want more of. So all y'all saying that like, oh, to ask for a burger and get a salad. It's like, no. And it's like, no, she wasn't being like that. She was actually like considering things that I had said in previous conversations and deciding to make a decision that she knew that I wouldn't make if she gave me the option. But knowing that I would appreciate it.
'Cause I love you. Keeping daddy first. Daddy.
No, the Zoomers call him Zaddy now, isn't it? Isn't that the thing?
What?
I don't know.
No, that's not a thing.
I've showed you that video that's like when Zoomers go to court or whatever, if the court
Zaddy is
one
not
of those
a
was
thing.
Zaddy.
No.
That was one of the things. Okay.
Yeah, no, daddy.
I am looking it up now.
Hey, papi. One of the best ways to...
Zaddy, informal, a sexually attractive man, especially an older one, who is fashionable or charismatic.
One of the best ways for keeping daddy first in your home is to have a plan. I like plans. Let's look at several key ways to help keep your husband feeling like the king of the castle, regardless of how many little princes and princesses are vying for your attention. It's not going to happen. They're everywhere.
Yeah, no.
They're everywhere.
They are.
So the other day I called and I had him bring out, we have like the noise canceling headphones. And I had to bring them out to the car so I could put them on before I got in the house so everybody knew I was not accepting conversation. There's just so many of them. Okay.
You see, that's the thing though, is because it's easy for me to still feel like I'm number one because I'm not the one that all the kids come to when they need stuff. All of them.
Get away. Once or twice a year, get away for a night or a weekend as a couple. Okay, so we got away 2 weekends ago, but we're ready for another one.
Yeah, like a week later, it was like, oh, it's been so long since we've had any time alone without the kids. What do we do?
Yeah.
Like, we just had a vacation a week ago. I'm like, did we?
Yeah. My son was 1 year old when we left him for a weekend the first time. I missed him like crazy, but it did wonders for my husband to be the focus of my attention for 2 days. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. I think parents should get away and have some time alone.
Zoran says daddy doesn't have to be handsome. Main requirement is just that he keeps his baby in luxury.
That's right.
Yeah, that's daddy. We were talking about zaddy, though.
I'm talking about daddy.
Are you saying I'm not handsome?
She said doesn't have to be. I just need to be
So
in
it's
luxury.
okay if I eat all the gross burgers and put on 100 pounds?
I just need to be in luxury. Get creative. Have a date night once a week. Love it. If money is a problem, trade babysitting with a friend. The date doesn't have to be expensive, just a simple cup of coffee at a coffee shop or walk around the park. The idea is to get alone time and focus. Like, I am not opposed to couples having alone time when they have kids. I am all for that. But to say to put your partner before your kids, I don't know.
The kids have greater needs.
Yeah.
Like, as an adult, I can, I can stand there and maybe I feel a little bit jealous that all the kids run to you and you get all the affection from the kids. I do. It makes me feel jealous. But as the adult in the situation, I can put that aside and be like, no, I get better physical affection later.
The idea is to get alone time and focus on each other. I'm all for that. Please. If you have kids, you still need that time. Even you need that time just for yourself. You need time for your partner to be like, hey, I'm checking out for a little bit. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to the park. I'm doing whatever. But you also need time together. Like, create that time. It will keep you sane. Get lovey-dovey. Well, we're always lovey-dovey, so. When your husband comes home from work, stop what you're doing and give him a big hug and a kiss. Or you can continue what you're doing and he could just come over and give you a big hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
If the kids are around to see it, all the better. We agree. Children need to see their parents show affection, and your greeting says to them, I love this man and I'm glad he's home. 100%. We're all on board for that. Get intentional. Be intentional about looking for ways to let your husband know that he's still why is he still number one? Why can't you just say, let your husband know that you're still thinking about him or you care about him? Like, why
does there have to be a ranking in the first place?
Yeah. Why?
Like you would, like, Sharon would be appalled if we suggested that you rank your kids and treat one as one that you value more than the others or consider more important. But for some reason it's okay to do that between, like, spouse and kids?
Yeah. No. Like, I do things for you, you do things for me to let each other know that we're thinking about each other.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be number one. As you said, I'm in your top 5. Oh. Whether it's cooking a favorite meal or wearing a favorite nightgown, let him know you're still thinking of his desires. Yeah. But why does he have to be ranked number 1? I agree. Do all of these things. I agree. Get personal. Have conversations that are not always focused on the children. 100%. A good place to start is with questions in chapter 17 of this book. Please don't start there.
Which one was chapter 17?
I don't know. It was a list of 25. Oh, 17. Look at that. Oh, fortuitous. Where are her topics? What do you think heaven looks like? Although we did have a good little conversation about that.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, wait. But wait.
These were the stupid questions.
Yeah. What was your favorite thing to do as a child? Who is the biggest bully in your neighborhood when you're... No, Sharon, those are dumbass questions. Like,
Look up a better list of questions on the internet.
Yeah.
And then save them to your floppy disk.
Yeah. No.
That's a callback joke to all the VHS tapes she mentions.
Get involved. Get dad involved. That is. Think about how a mother is essential to a baby's survival. Hello! You just highlighted it right there. A parent is essential to a baby's survival. A caregiver is essential to a baby's survival.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I hear if you leave a baby in the woods, the wolves will raise them. And then they become like super strong and can...
No, maybe.
Yeah.
God gave us breasts so that the baby's very nourishment is dependent on our care.
And for some reason, God gave men breasts that are actually capable of lactating in some situations.
And lots of women don't lactate, like me. I had a very hard time. In order to help, honestly, if I were born like middle ages, I would have died. And my kids would have died if I survived. My hips aren't wide enough to like bear children, and let's just say I did manage to get one out. I didn't lactate enough to feed anybody.
Yeah.
And that was me on a full diet, not a medieval diet.
See, and this is okay. So I posted some pro-trans stuff on Twitter over the last couple days, and so I've been inundated with like it's only like 3 or 4 people that seem to have nothing better to do with their lives than to post anti-trans stuff and reply to pro-trans stuff with anti-trans stuff. And one of the things is about how sex is bimodal, not a binary, because like, yeah, there's the male bin over here and the female bin over here, but like the characteristics that define male and female, there is no characteristic that will have everybody in one or the other bin. There is always going to be exceptions. That's one of the things, because there are men who are cis men, identify as men, but they grow breast tissue and are capable of lactating. So if we're looking at that specific trait as one of the sex characteristics, because like that's one of the defining sex characteristics. It's a secondary sex characteristic, but it's still a sex characteristic, is women have breasts that can lactate, whereas men have, like, we do have breasts, but it's not like
lactatable.
Generally not. Like there's some difference in the tissue as well, but like it's very small differences. But that's what I was saying, where like if you just look at those two things, you would be in the same bin as some of these men who can lactate. Or a trans person who is a trans woman who has taken hormone supplements that is capable of actually lactating enough to feed a baby. That person would be closer to the woman bin than you are when looking at that one characteristic. And so that's what, like, sex is bimodal, because like any characteristic of sex that you look at, it has that sort of a distribution where, yeah, most people fall into one of these two categories over here, but there will be overlap in the middle. So yeah, that's a tangent. That's just, and okay, if I could,
but I don't want to be in a bin.
I know. Well, that was actually one of the papers that I've come across on this, is that in statistics games, the reason we have those two bins is because that makes the statistics easier. But when you are actually looking at like medicine and healthcare and stuff like that, you want to know how, like, this person's body is going to respond to this treatment different than that person's body. And some of those differences are based on their sex. And so when you only have two bins, that makes things easier to figure out, except there are women that respond to this hormone treatment in a way that is more similar to the men. And there are men that respond to that hormone treatment in the way that's more similar to the women. And it depends on so many different variables. And so there's actually, there's like, if you get specific enough.
I'm not bored, it's my nap time.
If you get specific enough, everybody's in their own bin. But it still will show that bimodal distribution if you look at all the characteristics combined. But like that's unworkable. So you end up with these other categorizations.
In order to help your husband feel needed, why do I need to make him feel needed? Fucking figure out.
Maybe if he like got off his ass and washed some dishes,
involve him.
If he made himself useful in the household, maybe he would be needed.
I don't know what I did. I did something.
You turned off your computer. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Hold on though. Involve him in taking care of the baby. Please.
He can involve himself with that.
I would like to go to sleep now. Can you please take care of your child?
Hey, men. If you smell a poopy bum, you can just clean it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like, ooh, stinky baby, you do it. It's your turn. Ugh. You can just change the fucking diaper yourself.
True story.
If the baby's hungry, if you're formula feeding, you can feed the baby. If you're breastfeeding, this will be situation dependent. I know with my kids, we always had a surplus of breast milk. So we had pumps and stuff. Mm-hmm. So there was always breast milk in the freezer. So like I could feed the babies just as well as she could. So like, yep, men, just take care of your kids. You don't need to be asked to help with that.
Yep.
Any offer would be appreciated.
Yeah. We would like to sleep, please. Share as many tasks as possible. By giving the baby a bottle, changing a diaper, or rocking him to sleep, your husband will feel as though he is needed and important and shared responsibility. Yes, it is a shared responsibility. Please.
What's funny, though, is that the men she's been describing in this book up to this point would probably be the kind of men that would complain if their wife expected that sort of thing of them.
Yeah. Yeah, please. We would like to sleep. Get practical. If your sex life takes a dip for a few months after the arrival of a baby, which it should.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, her vagina needs to heal.
Or if it was a C-section, you don't put your weight on someone who's recovering from surgery of that nature. I mean, yeah, there are positions you can use that don't put your weight, but still, like, just.
I want to say they say 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's a couple months in itself. Make sure your husband knows it is not a sign of rejection, but of exhaustion. And your body is healing. Then think of some practical ways to reignite the flame. No, my hormones are fucked up. My body's fucked up. I am tired as hell. I am healing. That is your job to make me feel pretty at that point. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Then there were 2 again.
Baby died?
Oh.
The husband neglected the baby, so it died. No, the wife got a job outside the home, so the baby died.
For the 18 years my son lived at home. That's it? Your son only lived at home for 18 years. Good for you. My mom's still trying to get rid of half of us. Valentine's Day was a special day at our house. I served up a dinner of pink cream potatoes.
What?
I don't know.
That sounds disgusting.
She put socks in the microwave. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
Heart-shaped hamburgers, heart-shaped biscuits, red velvet cupcakes with white icing and pink lemonade.
I could have used a heart-shaped hamburger earlier.
Next time, I'll cut out the edges and make it into hearts so you'll have even less to eat. Don't waste Red Mylar balloons danced from the kitchen chairs, and dinner was served on Valentine's plates with red napkins. I feel like that's more for her than him.
There was a chapter earlier on how men enjoy the romance as well.
Yes, there was, but pink creamed potatoes.
That just sounds gross. Like something with the texture, like cream potatoes. I'm assuming that's like mashed potatoes.
Yeah, she probably just added
like over mashed.
Yeah, but she probably just added food coloring to it to make them.
Yeah, pink. I know, but it's still like thinking of something that's pink, but the texture of mashed potatoes is just like ugh.
Mm. Of course, the entire meal was sprinkled with lots of love. But
now, if a man cooked a meal and said that to you, you know what you're finding in the ingredients list.
No.
I made it with love.
No. You're never getting to cook again. But to be fair, the whole thing about cooking with love 100% makes a difference. And this is why I think I'm a kitchen witch. When I don't want to say when I'm in love, but when I have love in my life, no, not doing that.
I just looked up a cookbook that is a real cookbook that exists called Cooking with Semen, 50 Delicious Recipes.
No, not doing that. Like my food tastes really good. Like you guys enjoy my food.
Yeah.
Okay, that pause was not like a pause. He
But
was
that
doing
pause
something
was
else.
that pause was yeah. I found a picture that was even worse than the cookbook that I was
Yeah.
debating whether or not to.
They actually like my food.
Yes.
But my ex hated my food. And
I mean, you've seen how picky my family is not. Is he just maybe more picky than we are?
no, it's the flavor. It's not even just like didn't like the flavors.
Yeah, that's called being picky.
No. Because you've had soup made by somebody else and you've said, not good soup. And then you have my soup and you're like, good soup.
Well, for a soup. I'm not a soup person. I don't
Right.
really enjoy soup in general.
But my point is, it's not like you like everything. You will say when something doesn't taste great.
Yeah.
Anyways, my family back home love my food. There came a point in my first marriage towards the end where my food started tasting like crap. If there's no
Little
love.
Posh just subscribe to
Yay.
Twitch. Yay.
So if I'm not cooking with love, the food will taste like shit, is where I'm going with that.
You cook with shit when you don't love someone?
Yep. Watch out. A shit pie.
These have got to be the worst pies in London.
You didn't get that reference, but it was from a book.
Shit pie?
Yeah.
There's a book about shit pie?
Yeah. Does anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about?
I made a reference that everybody's gonna get. Most everybody. Y'all have seen Sweeney Todd, right?
Ah. There we are. Don't piss her off.
Yeah, because...
Okay. Then there were two. Oh, 18. Yeah. Valentine's Day. She made all this shit. Red Mylar balloons, danced in the kitchen. Entire meal made of love. There we go. Made from love. But something happened the year my son went off to college that caused a shift in this Janus family tradition. Somehow, pink tinted cream potatoes and heart-shaped hamburgers didn't hold the same magic, and 24 cupcakes seemed a bit much for just two of us. As the day...
If you couldn't figure that out on your own before actually making that mistake, then that's on you.
You could just half the recipe, or he could take the rest of his office. Either one. As the day approached, Steve and I made a decision to start a new tradition.
Isn't he a dentist, though? Here, have these sugary treats at the dentist's office.
In their lunchroom. Steve and I made a decision to start a new tradition, a romantic dinner out. Oh, that's what she did every Valentine's Day when their son was with them.
Okay. Is she going to complain about a romantic dinner out? Because, like, honestly, I would rather have a romantic dinner out than in. Better out than in, I always said.
Because Valentine's Day fell on a Friday that year, Steve and I decided to celebrate on Thursday to avoid the crowds. That is something we would do.
Little Kosh says 24 cupcakes is a lot for 3 people. Yeah, but one was a teenager, though, so...
Yeah. Yeah, so they went on Thursday instead of Friday to avoid the crowds, something we would do.
Yeah.
I can safely say we avoided the crowds. When we arrived at the cozy candlelit restaurant, we were the only 2 customers there.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah. Empty nest, empty house, empty restaurant. Boy, you know how to make a girl feel special, I teased Steve. You reserved the entire restaurant for me.
I'm sorry, we got... Hello, Vice Rhino and Lady with the Book. This is Heidi.
Hi. See, Steve booked the restaurant. She didn't even book the restaurant. She keeps telling women that they got to do these things. And then she turns around and tells us how Steve does all this stuff. Like, come on. Of course, it was only a fluke.
I mean, let's be honest. Like, let's give him credit where it's due. Because ordinarily you'd expect a Christian relationship book like that or whatever would place all the onus of something like Valentine's Day on the man. It's his job to romance the woman.
Right. That's what she's doing. Except when she gives an example from her life, it's Steve that always does the thing. We like Steve. Steve is fucking amazing. Like, he says, hey, Sharon, I love you. You're great just the way you are. Don't change. And she's like, no, I need to change to be the woman of your dreams. He's like, no, you don't. I love you just the way you are. She's like, no, I promise you that's not what you want. Here, let me show you what you want. Like, fuck off, Sharon. How is Steve still with you? I don't know.
Steve deserves better.
Of course, it was only a fluke. But then again, I think God was giving us a special Valentine's gift of our own. Throughout the entire evening, we had the place to ourselves. For several hours, waiters and waitresses gave their entire attention to one couple, adjusting to a meal without pink creamed potatoes and red velvet cupcakes.
That doesn't sound like a hard adjustment to make.
No.
And honestly, as a former waiter, on a slow night when you only have one table, that's actually almost harder than being busy, because then it's like, if I go by the table too frequently to see how things are doing, then it's gonna start to be an issue where like I'm being too intrusive. So it's like, how often it's harder to judge how often to go to the table if there's only one table.
Like, wouldn't they also just start cutting staff too?
Yeah, and I would be the one being like, ooh, pick me.
Yeah, I really don't feel like the whole restaurant was just there catering to you two.
We're at $300.
Yay!
The fundraiser.
Boo, boo, boo. Boo, 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 boo.
Oh, I have that. I don't know how well that went out to the chat, because I think I have property. No, not properties. It's not as spontaneous anymore. Turn off the noise suppression. There you go.
Steve and I held hands over a white tablecloth, looked into each other's eyes, and talked without worrying that the people at the table next to us would hear. Steve said a longer than usual blessing, and we had a wonderful time.
In the restaurant, he said a blessing?
Yep.
So he thanked God for the food that a human chef made for him?
Yep.
Hmm.
Thinking back on our first Valentine's Day as empty nesters, I am so grateful for our relationship. Sure, I missed the hubbub around the house, but we still had the day sprinkled with love. Well, I would fucking hope so. Through my ministry with women, I see so many couples who are investing most of their time and energy into raising their children. You also only had one fucking child. It's very different when you've got 2, 3, and 4.
5.
And 5.
They're not a count woman.
Schedules revolve around soccer practice, ball games, school activities. Yes, when you have more than one child, that is what happens. Romance is placed on the back burner, and the marriage relationship is placed on hold for a more convenient time. Then one day, when the kids are gone, the couple rolls over in bed and realizes they are living with a stranger. Well, don't do that.
Yeah, no, it's possible to still like know the person that you live with,
Yeah.
even if the romance isn't quite as frequent.
Yeah. I mean, kids
Like
do
you do know kids go to
sometimes.
bed at night, like chat with each other then.
Yeah.
Like I think we've discussed this before, but like we have one of our points of contention in our relationship is that there are all these TV shows we want to watch, but we never watch them because we like curl up on the couch and we're like, hey, we will talk tonight.
Yeah. We talk to each other. We enjoy it.
And then I'll be like, hey, do you want to watch Stranger Things? And be like, nah, those episodes are like an hour and a half long, and because we're in the latest season, which really fucking long episodes. And it's like, that's like a movie. It's too late to start a movie. Let's just talk.
Let's just talk. Yeah, we went away, what was it? April? We went away for like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't turn on the TV once while we were gone. We talked the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you did some yoga.
Sorry. 20 minutes out of 3 days, I did some yoga. Like,
I mean, I got to watch.
yeah. But I mean, like, we talked the whole time. Don't get me wrong. I love being a mother. Being a great mom, raising great kids. You say kids, but you only have one. It's just Steve and Steven. Are you counting Steve as your child? What? Sharon, you only have one child.
Okay.
Or at least one child you talk about. Maybe.
So here's another, as long as we're talking about empty nest time, it is, so this is where, like, yeah, priorities wise, the kids come first because they have greater needs.
Yes.
But you also have to make sure that you, and we've already kind of touched on this, is that like you still are your own person with your own interests and your own activities,
Hmm.
because as important as you are to your children, there will come a day when you're no longer living together, where they're no longer reliant on you. For most people, there are different scenarios that will change this for some people, but in for the most part, there will come a time when your kids are no longer reliant on you for their basic needs. And when that time comes, if you have made your entire life about nothing other than meeting their needs, then that's when you get the empty nest syndrome, where it's like, well, what do I do now that my child has moved out?
Hmm.
It's like, whereas if you maintain that I still have my hobbies, I still have my interests, I still have my romantic partner that we go and do romantic stuff with, then when they move out, you still have all those things and you can
Yeah.
maybe ramp them up a bit.
Yeah. But also giving your kids a little bit of independence too. Like as teenagers, they're not going to want to spend as much time with you. So you got more time to
Yeah,
spend with each other.
that's the thing that I'm dealing with now, and it's actually, so my kids recently have been going to bed on their own without a story and a song, which they're at an age where like a story and a song is unusual, where like most kids at that age would just go to bed on their own. Um, and then last night, we were going to do it with your kids, but they were too tired and grumpy, so they just went to sleep. And then my two youngest were just like, "Oh yeah, sure, we can still do story and song." And my youngest, holy cow, when I tucked him in afterwards, he was so clingy and like he didn't want me to leave the room. It was like, maybe we should continue doing the story and song.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe they still enjoy that.
Or maybe they just enjoy papa time.
Yeah, I know that too. Well, so that's another thing. Like with parents tend to withdraw physical affection from boys very early,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Have
don't
you
like
met
that.
me?
I, I feel like I feel like that might be a contributing factor to the like I almost want to say it's a contributing factor to rape culture, because like if men are starved for physical affection, then it's going to feel more justifiable when they lash out at
Maybe.
other people, at women who they feel owe them physical affection.
Maybe.
So if, and I'm not saying that that is the cause of it. It's a
And we're
multifaceted
not
issue.
condoning it.
Yeah, and I'm not excusing it at all. Like,
You're still a
it just,
grown ass person.
yeah,
Have some self control.
yeah. Um, but I do think that it probably is a contributing factor, and so as part of that, I'm like, my boys get as many hugs as my daughter, and we cuddle up, we snuggle. I put them in headlocks,
I only have boys.
pick them up and flip them upside down.
And they're gonna get snuggles forever. I told them they're never leaving me. Actually, we've already decided half our kids are never leaving us, so we've accepted it.
I'm not sure if we have accepted that.
Well, we just have to make enough money that we can like build them their own apartment on attached to our home so that we can still have our own space. Okay. Don't get me wrong. I love being a mother, being a great mom, raising great kids. You only have one, Sharon. Was Oh, that was her book. Being a great mom, raising great kids. But you still only have one. Was
Wait,
my
Sharon has another book?
first published book. That was her first published book
Oh,
about raising great kids, but she only has one. How do you raise great kids if you only have one, Sharon?
maybe it was a typo.
Maybe. Motherhood is one of the most important roles we will ever fill. We have the responsibility of shaping and molding the children who will one day define who we are as a community and a nation. However, as a wife, my first priority must always be to love and honor and cherish my husband, putting my relationship with Steve second only to my relationship with God. That is the best gift I can give my child. Nope, not even close.
They keep giving up the game here, though. Like they keep on saying, like, "Oh, you got to put your husband first, except for God."
Yeah.
It's like, no. If you actually believe in God and you believe you are putting God first, you wouldn't need to like add that as an afterthought. It would just be like, always put my husband second,
Yeah.
after God.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they phrase it as first, it's like that kind of gives up the game there.
Ready for some proverbs?
Is it he who spares the rod spoils the child? Which that's a paraphrase from Proverbs. That's not a direct quote, but it's in there.
So my math teacher in middle school loved that. Every class.
I mean, it's not too far away from the verse saying the same thing about slaves.
Yeah. He'd walk around with his yardstick. It's great. I loved
Did he actually hit people with it?
No, I liked him. He was great. But that's one. I mean, I have been hit with a yardstick in school before and a ruler and
By a teacher?
Yeah.
Was that allowed?
Yeah.
Okay. Not allowed here. And it hasn't been since before I went to school, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, to be fair, though, I was still alive. Like, I was in school when residential schools were still open, so.
We can't beat our white children, but.
Yeah.
But, there's always an exception.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the last time I got beat in school was in 6th grade. True story. The 7 principles of the Proverb 31. Women are the foundational pillars of Proverb 31 ministries. And I believe they are a key
Is Proverbs 31 that chapter that basically says don't use prostitutes?
I don't know. She hasn't actually said what it is yet. But apparently it's also a ministry. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds.
And I believe they are the key to becoming all that God intends for us to become. And the order of God first, husband second, and children third. Well, what about yourself? Do you come in there at all?
Do not give your strength to women, your ways to those who destroy kings.
I'll destroy all the kings I want. Oh, and the order of God first, husband second, and children third is key to a well-ordered life. Not just a period of time, but for as long as we both shall live. For more on the 7 principles, see A Woman's Secret to a Balanced Life.
I think we've read Proverbs 31 earlier in this. Like she rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens.
I ain't getting up at night to do none of that shit. Let's just be real. For more on the 7 principles, see A Woman's Secret to a Balanced Life, co-authored by Lisa Turkhurst and Sharon Janus. Nice plug, Sharon. My prayer for you, dear friend, is that when all your children have grown and gone their separate ways, even though your nest may be empty, your home will still be filled with love for your husband, with deposits of treasured memories in every nook and cranny of your life. Don't wait until the kids are gone to try and catch up for the missed years. Make each day count. Right now, your marriage is becoming what it is going to be. Yes, Valentine's Day was difficult the first year as empty nesters.
I don't know, it sounded lovely.
It did.
But
also, Valentine's Day is not a day I celebrate with my children anyways.
Yeah.
That's the day we're like...
That's a day when you want to find a babysitter.
Yeah, so we're like, peace out.
Yeah. But anyway, I just quickly breezed through Proverbs 31. It's basically all either... So it starts off with an excellent wife who can find she is far more precious than jewels. And then the rest of it is either stuff that's like so basic as to not really be profound. So like she does him good and not harm all the days of her life. So like a good wife is someone who does good to her husband and not harm. Well, fucking duh. But then like a lot of it is stuff that's like a good wife is rich. So it's like she considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands, she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. That doesn't sound like Sharon's idea of a woman.
No, it does not.
A good wife is a bodybuilder, apparently. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. That sounds like a prostitute.
I was just about to say. I'm like, my merchandise is good, but my light definitely goes out at night.
Yeah, but like she's not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. So like she's rich. She's got the money to buy good winter clothes. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchants. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at what's to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and teaching of the kindness is on her tongue. I don't know. It's basically like a good wife is a rich one. So where's your money?
I told you my light goes out at night and we're past my nap time. No pink lemonade, potatoes, or heart-shaped biscuits. Instead, we enjoyed a main course of special memories, a side of future hopes and dreams, and a rich dessert of intimate moments topped with the promise of more to come. How is that difficult? Like, that
Yeah,
sounds like a very good night.
yeah. Like I don't understand. Like, I mean, I guess it's difficult if you turn Valentine's Day into a family affair that
Yeah.
like, oh, now there's one less person. Like, I could see like a Thanksgiving dinner or a Christmas dinner or something
Yeah.
like that without your kid at home
Yeah.
if they don't come back home for that
They
the first
better.
time gone. I could I could see that being difficult, but
Mhm.
like an occasion that's supposed to be a romantic dinner for two, like, oh no, we only had two people at our romantic dinner that's supposed to end in sex.
Now back to the childhood chant. Let's learn a second verse.
Oh God.
First comes love, then
Sharon wrote
comes
it for us, didn't
marriage.
she?
I told ya. Then comes Susie with the baby carriage. Children grow up, kids are all gone, mom and dad are still in love, even though they're all alone.
Is that supposed to be a second verse? Because that does not fit the cadence.
Yeah, no, that is her second verse. Mine was so much better.
I didn't hear yours. Well, I did hear yours, but I don't remember.
Mommy got stressed out.
Can I see it? Sometimes I can make it fit if I can read it. So first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes Susie with the baby carriage. Children grow up, kids are gone, mom and dad are still in love, even though they're all alone. No, it doesn't fit. Even though they're all alone. That sounds so sad.
Oh,
It's like, no, all alone is like the ideal.
I know. I'm like, let's go on vacation again.
Yeah, all alone.
All alone. All alone.
Yeah, so anyway, let's see who donated to the thingy.
Thank you for donating. We appreciate it. And I promise tomorrow night he'll actually give some more information on what Project Share actually is, because it's not just a food bank.
Oh, so Anonymous gave 250.
Woo! Thank you, Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous. Aaron gave 25. Jeff gave 25.
Thank you, Aaron.
And
And
that
I don't know
was
what your last name is, but from here it looks like Butterfly.
Well,
And Jeff Gingerbread.
so I Butterfly and Gingerbread. All right. No, I always struggle with this because like I want to, like, last year what I did was I had a scrolling list of everybody that donated. But it occurs to me that some people might not want their full name available, and you can be anonymous. But I remember when I gave through this system or whatever, it was not necessarily immediately clear that when you put your name in, it was going to publish your name.
I don't know, but it says, I think it says like, what name do you want? Because even if it's not published on YouTube, it publishes it on the site.
Yeah.
So it asks you what you want your name to show up as.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure mine, because I was creating all sorts of crazy names last year.
I know. But like, if you're not really paying attention, you just see that it's asking for your name. So you type your name and off you go. I don't want to accidentally dox someone.
Can we not see them? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway.
Just please be careful when you input your name. Only put what you want shown. Butterfly and Gingerbread.
Aaron Gingerbread. No, Aaron Butterfly and Jeff Gingerbread.
Yeah. And that's only because that's all I can see from this far away.
Which I think you need to wear your glasses more often, because I'm pretty sure that I would have been able to read that without my glasses from that far away.
Oh, hold on. Right here. Butterfly and headboard? I still get butterfly. Unless it's like Brittany. Aaron, Brittany, and Jeff headboard.
Okay. Thanks for joining us.
Wait, no.
It's been fun.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, I can see it.
yeah,
Well.
I can read that.
Yeah. No, I'm over here though.
Okay, but you were... We'll not end the stream until we settle this.
Nope. Turn your face. Yes.
Okay, I might not have been able to make out the second one. First one, yes, for sure. Second one, maybe not.
Yeah, but you can only make out the first one now because you already know what
No,
it is.
I was taking that into account.
No, you weren't.
With how clear the letters were.
I already knew what it was.
This is a fight for us. This
Yeah.
is a serious fight.
This is how we fight.
Oh, shut up, dog. Yeah, go back to licking yourself.
This is how we do it. This is
Yeah,
how
so speaking of dogs licking themselves, I've been listening to Patrick Stewart's memoirs.
Yes.
And there's a story that he tells of the first time he ever worked with a dog on stage. He refused to use a stage trained dog, so he went to a rescue shelter and got a rescue dog because it was supposed to be kind of a grangy mutt kind of dog. And the dog he got was perfect because it would just sit there the whole time, and that's what that dog was supposed to do in the play.
Yep.
But then there was one time when on stage he lifted his leg up, massive erect penis, started licking himself right there in front of the whole audience. And then Patrick's very next line was, "I am the dog, and the dog is me." So the audience thought that was hilarious, but it wasn't supposed to be hilarious. His memoirs are fun. It's a good book. I recommend the audiobook because it's like listening to a grandfather telling stories around a fire. And like he puts extra inflection into it that will not come across in the book. Ooh,
kids grow up, kids left home, mom and dad party with foam.
It still doesn't quite fit though.
Better than alone. Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Okay, time to end the stream. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Talk to you later. No, see you next Tuesday. That's the one.